Them hustle sote, they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar, just they get the higher power. Over naira. Still them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego die the political. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day off in mind. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, my yegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, my yegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my yegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, my yegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my yegun diary political. Oh yo yo, my yegun don't come. Oh yo yo. This man not dey off in mind. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Aha. Now him una don hear o.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo do. Mayegun diary na yibi Mayegun la wa mo.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live again.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube. Mayegun diary na yibi
Share this broadcast, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Just tell them that Mayegun today. You don't even have to tell them, just tag them. Babalawo Apapa Wolf has dropped another lamba. Even though we shouldn't be entertaining people like this, but when you know that these people like these characters, right, they are not representing themselves. They are just puppets in the hand of the puppeteer, the establishment. You should share this broadcast. Yes.
Lórí Facebook.
See, Babalawo Apapa is the cancer that is laboratorily developed. So it is a cancer that you didn't know. But right now, it is like that adete in Yoruba. People call adete are those with leprosy. And according to my own forebearers, and you know, to those before, I mean, those after them, and before me, we believe that adete may not be able to squeeze the milk from the cow, but they are easily useful in spilling it, because adete, the people suffering from leprosy, they don't have fingers like me and you. They can't curve fingers like this. And they pretty much are handicapped. But as much as they seem handicapped, they can wreak havoc and ruin all of the works and the efforts of able-bodied men and women. That is why Apapa is back with another banger.
Yes,
If you are not happy, if you are not happy with the way Nigeria is being governed, you have two options according to the establishment, the Nigeria system. Two options. They told us repeatedly, leave Nigeria. If you are not comfortable with the way they are governing Nigeria, leave Nigeria. Go and live elsewhere. And if you can't leave Nigeria, anyway, go and find your own, go and start your own political party, run for office and challenge them. Stop shouting and screaming and complaining and lamenting. Do you understand that? They said, if you are not comfortable with the way Nigeria is being governed, go and start your own political party. Go for an election. Face us in an election. If you defeat us, then you can run Nigeria the way you think it should be run. But for people like us who know the trick, we know the drill, we know the steps, and to legitimize their criminality, we know how they set the rules. But we kind of being the naysayer in this case, when people felt like they are going to take up the challenge. They're not going to leave Nigeria. For them, they're going to challenge them. Impossible. They wanted to do the impossible. And not many people believe them or in them. You know the whole story. Now, we know that they will force your hand to participate in an election that you have no idea the purpose behind the rules, that they are shunning out for you to obey and follow, the ones that they won't follow. They always set out two rules. One for the rest of you, believing that they want to do something, and another one for themselves, the one they actually want to do. So they will tell you to participate in their charade election. The laws and everything that actually surround the election are completely bogus. That they themselves who set up the laws, they don't believe in them. So people like us just stayed back and we started saying, you are wasting your time. They're going to lure you into participating. And the moment you participate, you legitimize that charade. And the moment you get involved, you can't get back until you get to the end of it. If that is just going to be an experience for some of you to understand why some of us don't want to invest our time, our resources, and our energy in promoting, let us save Nigeria. You can't save Nigeria. And this is why you will participate. They will rig you out. They will tell you to go to court. They will rig you out as well in that court. Therefore, the process is completed. If you then go after that and say, I disagree. This is a crime. This is and you decided to go and protest, then they will roll out their soldiers, the tanks. And suddenly, Nigeria will have the soldiers who have the capacity to quell uprising. So, you have legitimized it. They've rigged and cheated you. They've told you to go to court. The court will cheat you. And then and on. That's it. That's the usual kind of tradition. Until Didnt came. They told them if they didn't like how Nigeria is being governed, they should go and register their political party. When they started, they said they were noisemakers. 4 people tweeting in a room. It's not even possible. Do you think you want to defeat the establishment? Blah, 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 blah. Story. Then they rigged you. It became so obvious. It was pure rigging. The numbers that they cannot defend. It is obvious. So what is next? You go to court. The next stage they have already set up for you. Go to court. but you know their court is so corrupt. These politicians, these criminal politicians have the compromise on these same judges. Now you have started praying. May God touch the hearts of the Nigerian judges. Do you even know that your constitution says that you must have 21 judges, justices in your Supreme Court? Do you know that that's what your constitution says, Abi? Right. And do you also know that for the past 6 years or so, you've only been having between 12 and 14 justices in your Supreme Court? Anyway, maybe that will explain why you have backlog of cases that they completely sort of abandoned, like the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. 12 people, 12 justices in your Supreme Court are doing the work of 21 justices. There may be, you know that their justice system is so corrupt that it will take a miracle. Something like a big prayer. God, Heavenly Father, we call on you today. 7 days fasting and prayer, 41 days fasting and prayer. Oh yeah, let us come together and bring, all that stuff. And let God touch the heart of your judges. Why are you saying that? Because the thieves who stole from you and told you to go to, and they told you to go to court. Can't you just reason and say, in brother, be the judge? Anyway, go to court. Why do you think people go to court after election? What do you think is the prayer or are the prayers of people who go to court after election? Other than to say the person they declared winner didn't win. Therefore, they won, and the person declared winner should be declared not winner anymore. Is that not why you go to court? If you go to court and say the governorship election was is rigged. I have been rigged, my lord. And you want to prove to them that they rigged you. Should not be evidence of that rigging. You want to prove that you won. That person didn't win. And when the court says, oh yeah, you have proved it, you won, what do you think will happen? That person will cease to be that person anymore, Abi? Okay, they told you to go to court. Now you are in court. They haven't even started the tribunal case. So what they are doing right now is just hearings. So you know what they call pre-hearing? Pre-hearing is when everybody who claimed that they were rigged in the election, who have already submitted their petition. The one that they said rigged them, Tinubu, he has submitted his own response. Now, what is next will be to present their evidence to court. And Tinubu will present his own counter evidence to crush any evidence against him. Abi, is that not what court works for? So if the court turn around and say, oh, Tinubu proved that he won, a lot of you will be very, very angry, won't you? You'll be so angry and sad and all of that. Abi? Of course, somebody would have to be declared. Abi? Okay. Now you are still there doing pre-hearing, submitting this and that, just getting ready. Baba, tension don't do everywhere. Suddenly, Igbos want to stop Yoruba from being president of Nigeria. It is no longer go to court. It is now these Igbos. If anything happened that the court say Tinubu didn't win, that the Igbos who are trying to cause problem in Nigeria, they want to annul. They are using the word annul the election. For remember, the person will go court understand the process. The last time, or should I say, the first time Obi had the experience of being rigged out, it was when he contested to be governor of Anambra as far back as 2003. Until 2006, when court ruled that PDP didn't win. That is the Okija Shatabandu, Chris Ngige. 3 years, Obi was in court. So he knows. Yet they sworn Ngige in. Ngige was governor for almost 3 years or so. So he knows that. He is not saying that there is no court case anywhere in Nigeria right now where they say Peter Obi is asking that Tinubu must not be inaugurated. Nowhere. There is absolutely nowhere. There is nowhere where Labour Party, the party where will be there, where they are in court and asking court to stop Tinubu's inauguration. Nowhere. There is nowhere, video or anything, audio, where Obi called for interim government because of the election. Nowhere. But guess what? When Festus Otobo-Keyamo will talk, they will say Obi and his people are trying to annul election of Tinubu. They are about to repeat MKO stuff. Do you understand? So this go to court is now turning into, why did you go to court? Can't you just accept the result and just move on? Why are you in court? So you want to annul election, Abi? The same thing in Zeribe did, Abi. The same thing this and that one did. You want to annul Yoruba election. Yoruba will not accept it. Yorubas will fight. Yorubas, Nigeria will, you know what I mean? They are now tilting it towards that. Now go to court, then said, though. You know? Anyway, to the brethren on YouTube, I just peeped there, okay? If you see anybody who is becoming unruly, okay? We have those who are kind of there with you with their spanners. Call their attention. They will take care of them, okay? If you see any nuisance, any sort of a confused nuisance, creating or kind of causing some nuisance or whatever in the you can call all of these people who have spanners. You can see them. I have about 3 of them. Call them. They can take care of them for you, okay? So the gaslighting kick-started. Yes, you got it. Gaslighting. Why are you in court? Why Igbo people? Why is Obi is just going to create problem for Igbo people? The Igbo people should talk to Obi. So he's asking the court to, you get what I mean? And you get confused, like, what's going on? What's going on? Of course, it is their trademark. And that is why when Apapa in Nigeria media, they refuse to report that Apapa is no longer a member of Labour Party leadership, so to say. So the ANEC sacked him. They suspended him at first, but when he won't stop, they dismissed him, which means they are not even supposed to be parading themselves as what? As Labour Party members. But remember, it's not just them. Look at his face. Babalawo, Apapa, Wolf. Do you think this man has 50 million naira every month to pay lawyers, pay for the, what do you call it, hotel accommodations all over Nigeria, and at the same time, fly private jet with the people that are actually going about with him? Do you really think this person, as such, okay, that may sound like a sort of a rhetorical question, okay, fine. We know when they came on, okay, let me take you there. When they came on with whatever is going on in their party and the rest, everybody knows that whatever Labour Party is in Nigeria, they acquired almost nothing at the national level in Nigeria until this Obi wave swept through everywhere. And Obi, an Igbo man that somehow is declared that he came third, but he believed he won the election. And it is only for him to prove that in your court, as he was told. But trying to turn it around and make obedience about Igbo, is one of the most dubious thing and also an evil thing anybody should even ever entertain, talk less of even spitting it out. Igbo agenda, Igbo this and that. But you see, this Igbo man that they wanted you to believe is Igbo, and disobedient stuff. And you see, when they say Igbo, it's not that anything is wrong with Igbos. Sure, you get. But when they decided to kind of play that Igbo card in this scenario, they are trying to play the card of the already profiled ethnic nation in Nigeria, which is the Igbos in Nigeria. They are supposed to be part of Nigeria. But there is this unwritten, God knows why. A lot of us have sort of figured out why. Sure, you get why the Igbos have become the most sort of hated ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. It became something like it is like a convenience to just don't like them. Even without any reasons, you can make up things. Oh, you heard. Oh, but nevertheless, they wanted one Nigeria with a submissive Igbo people. Now, that crisis of this or that, right, will make them, from that background, from that end, when they tell you the Igbos are the problem, the obedience are the Igbos. If you see any Igbo that is not obedient, they are the people who got brainwashed by the Igbos. Do you understand that card? It's a card of, you see, it's actually politics of elections, though. But the way the back end of where this Igbo, that, Igbo, this Igbo, that came from is what I'm telling you right now. But this Igbo man, and this Igbo, what they have said so far, has been the only one, right, who has penetrated every part of Nigeria. He has been the only one, right, who has been able, right, to be the target of the supposed establishment, PDP in the south, APC in the north. It was hell. But what they are actually trying to ignore is that when they say obedient, these are your brothers, your sisters, Nigerians who have actually seen shege under people destroying people, under APC, the routing of the entire establishment was brought about by the angry population that cut across all ethnic nationalities, all religion, and the rest. So in denying all of that and sort of cycling the whole thing to be about Igbos is deliberate too. And that is why when this Labour Party was announced as the vehicle that the obedient want to use, a lot of them didn't even know who are the Labour Party, who was the chairman, who is this or who is. They didn't even know anyone. Are you with me? These are Nigerians who have felt and survived so far the injustice that Nigeria represents. And you know something about bad governance? It doesn't respect any tribe, religion, culture, region, and it doesn't give a hoot. Nigeria, as poverty capital of the world, due to bad governance, corrupt leadership, has shown out millions of Nigerians who are living in extreme poverty across Nigeria, across all religion in Nigeria. So bad governance and the effects or consequences of bad governance is not limited to those who didn't vote for them, including those who vote for them. So the obedience is a reflection of a country where the citizens the leaders and the led have been so disconnected. There's been so much disconnection between the leaders and the led. And this disconnection has created so much acrimony, enough that a lot of people are asking, how is Nigeria even surviving or even still existing? Yeah, Nigeria is still existing because of the divided people. The injustice is not meted at just someone or some tribe and what have you. It cut across, like I said. So that obedience was just like a reflection. It was like a protest. When they gathered and protested against bad government in Nigeria, they were killed. Many of them were jailed. A lot of them are still living, those who survived are still living with the horrible scars that they suffered in the hands of their supposed leaders. So the obedience was supposed to be an easy protest against the system in Nigeria. It's not just APC that actually attacked them. Do you know what they did to them in Eastern Nigeria that you identify as obedient, trying to vote for Obi? Do you know what they did to them? Do you know what they did to them in the Niger Delta region? And I'm not talking about Igbos. I'm talking about citizens of these areas. Do you know what they did to them in the middle belt part of Nigeria? Do you know what they did to them in northern Sharia North? And how much attack and that they suffered simply because they were called infidels? Do you even know that if all of this were put into documents, a lot of you will kind of or should be so worried and scared of what you are supporting and promoting in the name of the obedience are intolerant. Those who promoted Muslim tickets in a country that has abundance of Muslims and Christians, they did that and they turn around and blame you for not accepting Muslim tickets. And they said you have Islamophobia. The same people who triggered all of this, they turned around and they said, you obedient, you are going to churches. Do you see all that game? Do you see how they turned that? So, this Igbo man won elections in Kaduna. This Igbo man won election in Bauchi, won election in Zamfara, in Nasarawa, in Plateau, in Sokoto, in Kano. But thanks to them that they all have their result anyway. But if they allow people to tell you their story and what they suffered because of this Muslim ticket in northern Nigeria, you would be ashamed of yourselves for even going the route of that divisive one. By what? By gaslighting them as Igbos. They killed them in Lagos. They even went as far as listen to this. In Lagos State, where they were stopping the Igbos from voting. Do you know another horrible things that happened in this xenophobic Nigeria that APC has finally brought upon you? They said if you dress nice, if you're looking clean, sharp, you are not allowed to vote. Because according to them, you may claim to be Yoruba, but you are not Yoruba. It got so disgusting that a lot of people are saying, are these Olori Burukus? Actually, they actually wanted to see Yorubas looking dirty, poor. And that will be the identity of a proper Yoruba in the Nigeria these criminals are bringing to you. This happened though, I'm not making it up. They said some people look too clean. They look too clean to be Yoruba on election day in Lagos. They smell too good to be Yoruba. So what were they saying? The real Yoruba that they were identified with must be Yorubas who look dirty, Yorubas who look haggard, the poor ones. Then that will make you Yoruba. This happened though. They were screening people that they said they didn't look Yoruba enough. All for elections. All to stop those they considered as enemies. The Didnt. They screamed loud. The fanatic jihadist APC, Egbekegbe, in northern Nigeria, they said Peter Obi has been visiting only the communities who are Christian communities in northern Nigeria. They raised the alarm because he was visiting the communities that have already been abandoned after different terrorist attacks. They have been fenced off Nigeria. They have been left at the mercy of terrorists. He was visiting them, and their media, they changed that to him escalating or trying to trigger religious war by telling the Christians in northern Nigeria that as Nigerians, they will not be forgotten. And that is not making any headline in Nigeria. He is an enemy. Igbo man. He wants to cause problem. He want to make people. He want to divide the people. People that have already been divided by APC, Egbekegbe. Only united in poverty, the one that they weaponized. So I haven't seen anywhere. But they are struggling every day. Now, despite them shamelessly, we have videos, so there are videos everywhere. The people that told you that if you are not voting for APC, don't come out. The people turned around and said, the obedient that they are attacking, that they are killing, they said they are more dangerous than them because they are becoming fascist. Hello? All of this simply because you think you can still fight and save Nigeria from the hands of these rogues. Of course, you have indeed disrupted the entire political system in Nigeria. And right now, the incitement of tribal and ethnic division, possibly a bloody one, is the next move. Because like I said, if you see some people who claim to be educated and they are repeating statements like, why is Obi asking for interim government? Why is Obi saying they cannot inaugurate Kolu? Why are the obedient saying that they will make Nigeria ungovernable? All these statements are not coming from any of those people mentioned. The interim government was the alarm of interim government was first raised by APC, Egbekegbe, when they came out to say some people inside Boko Haram's government, they are working to stop Tinubu from becoming APC candidate or even becoming the president of Nigeria. It was APC who started it. They were accusing themselves. So they said these people, after failing to stop Tinubu from becoming candidate, they are plotting to plan a military coup or interim government. Suddenly, all of these are not up to 4 months that APC accused themselves of trying to destroy Nigeria because of their political ambitions. So, sure you get, immediately after, they have now turned out to the obedient are looking to. Anyway, somebody said, so you, Mayegun, Ogao, so you are now the defenders of obedient. So you are now the one defending Obi. That is where your mumu is proving immune to this dosage. Your mumu is like a virus. Sure you get. And this virus that is mutant, you know when something is mutant, it has resisted all logical solution. Explanation doesn't work for you. But let me kind of explain something to you. I don't have to be obedient before I can use them as a very good example of an unjust system, an injustice society, unfair and unequal system that Nigeria represents. The one that has breeded nothing but disunity, division, and almost will finally break up Nigeria. Let me explain that to you. Injustice that you see, sometimes when those you don't like are suffering it, you might think, they are receiving the punishment that they deserve because you, at least, you are not under any of those attacks. You are safe. Abi? Okay, I'll give you this whole instance now. When APC, when they started attacking Nigerians and using different sort of excuses to kill Nigerians, okay, until it got to some people. When it first started, a lot of people who are today agree that APC indeed is a cancer to Nigeria that will finally kill Nigeria. That is why they said if you don't kill APC, it will kill Nigeria. If you don't kill Nigeria, Nigeria will kill you. Anyway, all they needed to go after those they suspected to be potential threats to whatever agenda that they finally have executed to some extent today in 2015. All they needed is just to give an excuse to either send you to jail or send you to grave. The Shiites, we didn't know. We woke up one morning and we heard that breaking news. The Nigerian military, they are shooting and killing the Shiites in their numbers. What could have happened? Oh, the Shiites, are those not the religious sect from Kaduna? Those ones that they said they don't believe in Nigerian law. They don't believe in Nigerian constitution. They believe in this blah, 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 blah. And so many other things you have heard about them. So if Nigerian soldiers are killing them, they must have done something. And immediately, their social media propagandists, they went to market. Oh, if you know what the Shiites are planning, the Shiites are working with Iran and they are about to invade Nigeria and they are about to set up a new terrorist group. Nigeria cannot afford any terrorist group again. So, therefore, Nigeria must stop them. And you know what happened? They killed over 1,400 Nigerians because of their faith. Not because they found any weapon on them, not because they have any link that they are actually like promoting terrorism, but because their religious belief, even in the Islamic North, put them in danger against other Islamic sects in northern Nigeria. So what do they, instead of fighting their religious difference between themselves, the Sufis and Sunnis, instead of fighting themselves, they use Nigeria military. So Nigeria military accused them of maybe they are potential terrorists. They kill women and children. They went into their homes. Those who ran into those who ran into mosques, those who ran into churches, they went into those places. They executed them. Over 1,400. And nobody was held responsible. The explanation was they stopped the vehicle of the chief of army staff, Buratai. And now Buratai, that was when Buratai earned the title, Buratai the Butcher. He killed over 1,400 people because they blocked his convoy. Meanwhile, the video of that incident showed that Buratai was passing. These Sunnis, this Shiite, they are doing their procession on the side of the road. So Buratai the Butcher, who probably have a different Islamic belief than them, coming from the background of this religious difference in northern Nigeria, he stopped his vehicle, his convoy. He walked down and he approached these people and he started talking to them. Now, started talking to them, but for some reason, the usual soldier, blah, 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 I think they started assaulting these people. And before you know it, some of them, they started throwing stones and all of that. And this was when Buratai was long gone. Oh, it wasn't under any attack. Oh. The following day, they moved soldiers to their communities in Zaria, and they start the execution. It took them 2 days to execute all these people, and they gave them Kaduna, Littlefinger, El Rufaya gave the land for the mass grave, to give a shallow grave to bury all these people. Women, children, nobody was said they're responsible. It emboldened them that when they arrested their leader, they killed their leader's son, Ezazaki. Yeah, they killed his sons, they killed his wife, they killed among those killed, and he was arrested. You must have seen the video or pictures of his brutality and the soldiers beating. His people went to Abuja to protest for his release. The Nigerian soldiers, they called them the special tax whatever from the presidency in Abuja. Those who are protecting Bokwari, they moved them and they positioned them like war zone, and they started shooting. This was in the federal capital of Nigeria, and they started shooting and massacring them. Young people. In that case, they radicalized those ones, and I don't know what you're going to tell them about Nigeria, indeed. But because they gave an excuse that they wanted to prevent terrorists or stop them from becoming terrorists, they killed them. And so happened to the revolution now, Showore. A lot of you who actually felt like it's democracy, we are going to join revolution now. A lot of you ended up in jail. So many of you are still walking about with these different scars that you suffered in the hands of this same military or this same policemen in Nigeria. So a lot of you at that point realized that bad government is not going to be limited to those you don't like alone. Oh, yeah. Then they opened shop on the IPOB. It became a real federal government of Nigeria's project to crush and destroy anything IPOB. And this is just Nigerians who have identified that they can no longer be part of Nigeria due to this same injustice, bad governance, marginalization, and so many other things that everybody suffers in Nigeria, but a lot are living in denial of. The Igbos, the Biafrans, the IPOB, they became the target. It was pretty much like the people we weren't born before. We won't burn you before. You can't douse yourself with petrol. We are looking for opportunity to kill you. Now you are asking that you want to leave Nigeria you want referendum to leave Nigeria. Suddenly, referendum became a call for war in Nigeria. Referendum, yes or no? Do you want to be part of Nigeria or not? There are Igbos who still want to be part of Nigeria. Of course. There are Igbos who don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore as well. Well, how do you determine them? Give them referendum, Abi? But instead of giving them referendum, they gave them bullets. And they gave legitimacy of trying to stop another civil war. Asking for referendum is asking for civil war. So to stop civil war, we must kill all these people because they haven't learned a lesson. So that's the excuse. So anytime they kill anyone from Eastern Nigeria, all they have to tell you is that he's a member of IPOB. When that wasn't convincing you enough, they started their political criminal gang. They called them unknown gunmen. Imagine this game, unknown gunmen. Suddenly, Nigerian systems, security system, and agents, right? They can no longer identify criminals. They have to give them unknown. But guess what? It is a disguised name for you to finally know that if they are unknown, of course they are known. They must be IPOB. Oh, they are IPOB then. So when they now get people, innocent people that have become victim of this state-sponsored terrorism against Nigerians, they are Nigerians. Listen, you can say you don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore. There are Americans today. There are groups in America today, in some certain states in America, that are promoting the breakup of America. You might say it's a long shot. It's probably impossible, but they are still Americans. Sure, you know, under that same American law, this or that, they are still expressing their freedom without infringing it on the right of others. That won't make them un-Americans. Sure, you get that they don't want to be Americans anymore. They want to be the state of Texas, for example. They want to be their own country. Until that happened, They are still Americans. Every right as an American, they are still meant to what? To be protected by America. Because they're Americans. Now, only in Nigeria, you see educated people, Jesus, PhD holders, supposed educated people. They will go out publicly, ignorantly and shamelessly. They will tell you, referendum is a call for war. In a country like Nigeria, you cannot be asking for referendum. If the government is not going to fold its hand, the government is not going to look away. They are not going to pretend. They're going to kill you. That's it. And that's all the government need. The excuse. I live in Scotland. A lot of you are very much familiar with Scottish independence. Indy Ref 1, Indy Ref 2, Indy Ref 3. This don't have to pay Indy Ref 10 until Scotland finally leaves. But until Scotland become independence of Britain, every Scottish you see is British. And they will never be... See, here in Scotland, though, we have actually, had a referendum where people went out to say no, yes, to referendum, to independence. And immediately after that, it did not diminish. It didn't diminish the right of Scottish people in Britain. No, they are still what? They are still British. But in Nigeria, an already divided country. A lot of you, when it is convenient for you, you will say Nigeria should break up. In fact, Nigeria should just break up herself. But when it is not convenient, you'll be shouting one Nigeria, one Nigeria. Educated people, they will boldly say, now them cause them now. Every time they say they want Biafra, they want Biafra. They say they want Biafra ni, or they want Nigeria ni. They want kiniko, alabosi ni. But don't worry, it will be finally pronounced. Eventually, educated people turn referendum to war, and they continue to repeat it. And all their writings are so divisive that you have Igbos who want to leave, you have Igbos who want to stay, but you won't give them the chance to show where they want to be. So they gave an excuse, let's kill them. And we'll just tell people that now these ones want to cause war. They want to cause war in Nigeria. So in order to prevent war, so let us kill those people who are asking for referendum. Let us gaslight them. Nigerians will support us anyway, because we are trying to prevent another war anyway. So they are murdering and killing Nigerians because they are identified as Biafrans in a democracy. That's all they needed. We are so close like this in Yoruba land too, where they would have set up shop and they would have started killing our own people in the name of we want to stop people who want to cause war for asking for Yoruba nation. So the bottom line is this. Whether you have taken sides now or you haven't yet, in fact, whether currently you are on the side of your oppressive leaders, whether PDP or APC, and you have all the excuses to defend why you prefer them, and somehow, the obedient, who have been, they are supposed to be the underdog. They have no capacity. They have no control over military. They have no control or influence over the police. They know no one in your INEC. They know nobody in your justice and judiciary system. They have nothing but themselves and the numbers that the system continue to want to kind of crush. But you will always remember, they are the product of what Nigeria has become. The marginalized, impoverished, and terrorized Nigeria. They are the product of that Nigeria. So if you suddenly feel like their own anger, in fact, their own sort of a frontline fight against the oppressive system warrants you labeling them, gaslighting them, then turn around and call me, Mayegun, are you now obedient? Are you now supporting Obi? Because to you, it is their turn to be crushed by the establishment. At least you are safe. Abi? You are not obedient, Abi. You are not trying to stop these criminals, Abi. So you are safe. No, you are not. No, you are not. You are not. I'll tell you. Those who stood up and they became direct victim of this brutal system, they they have been able to know what they have, they can tell you why or what they actually suffered for. Every one of them can show you this car, and they'll tell you, I had this car, I got this, simply because I stood up against oppressive system in my own area. Sure, you get? They have something to say, but do you know something? You have nothing. You have absolute nothing to show, right? For being on the side of the oppressor. You know why? When the economy goes down, when the unemployment skyrocketed, and poverty in Nigeria, the poverty basket in Nigeria became bigger and bigger, and it became multi-dimensional. When your currency, your naira, became so devalued that it's almost worthless today, when terrorists became one of your prayer points in your own country, and they open shop in your country, and rather than the government of your country to protect you and make you the priority, they made the terrorists the priority. You have then turned around to become ransom payers to terrorists in Nigeria. All of this actually recognizes or acknowledges no one as, or spares no one as those on the side of their oppressors. So you're not winning, you are losing. And it is called self-destructive. So, the same way I spoke out when I saw that lie, the excuse to kill, adopted by the criminals you call leaders in Nigeria, it was just to tell you that, as we say in Yoruba, "Ikú tó bá ń pa ojúgbà ẹni, òwe ló ń pa fúnni." Simply or loosely translated as, when you begin to see the death of your mates, the people that you are of your peers, people of the same age, your peers, when they start passing and passing, it is just a reminder for you too that you will pass. Do you understand? And as we say it generally, if you promote and support and defend bad governance, you will eventually be a victim of it. And as it is in Nigeria, this shege is turn by turn. They don't even have to touch you most of the time. You see those they arrest, or those they exiled because of them picking up a battle and standing up for something. At least they are standing for something. A lot of you stands for nothing. When you stand with your oppressors and you are so scared. I remember when I used to tell you then that, I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about then, when the people who are the victims of a failed system in Nigeria, when they were screaming that to save Nigeria, then the Nigerians and Nigerians must make up their minds and do away with PDP and APC. I remember those old days. And when Omoyele Sowore showed up on the radar, he in fact got a lot of Nigerians, especially the diaspora Nigerians, interested in the possibility of changing the status quo in Nigeria. Showore toured the world, and Nigerians of different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, they organized the global tour for Showore at the time. And the effort then was that, indeed, just maybe, although it didn't gain this much momentum, okay? However, there were those who were just so hell-bent that Showore will never this or that, Showore that did this, Showore that did that, Showore who is this and that, a lot of that stuff. And I remember taking it upon myself every now and then to ask us some very cogent and very straightforward questions. And at that point, it became clearer that the reasons why many didn't like Showore is not because Showore is not good. In fact, it would have been the best for a country at the time if people were serious. But it became clearer that a lot of Nigerians have so many stones to grind with Showore because of his publication called Sahara Reporters. I remember coming on Mayegun's Diary Political at the time to explain that, or to ask, that no matter how much you despise Showore, there is no way a lot of those who are today so much interested, and I'm talking about a deeper rooted investigation about what is really going on in the Nigerian system, they wouldn't have been this much interested if not for the era of the Sahara Reporters. I mean, oh, he's carrying propaganda. He's the one that destroyed Jonathan's government. That's what I mean. Like, you had that personal stone to grind with him, but that couldn't really discredit everything he did on record at the time. And I said, Showore has never been in his life one of those who make your laws, execute your laws. It's never been those who actually passes or debate your budget. It's never been one of those, right, who execute your budget or even pay people in anything that has to do with Nigeria. If you have any grounds with him, it is simply because somehow, you are either on the side of your oppressors, and Showore trying to be different to them, right, is never going to be acceptable to you. So at the time, and a lot of people agreed, and they said, oh, it's true. I just don't like him because of the way he treated Jonathan. Oh, I didn't like him because of this. I didn't like him because, okay, I said, fine. I mean, fair enough. You don't have to like him. And you don't also have to discredit him as well. Then fast forward to 2022, 2023. Yeah? And disobedience surfaced. I mean, it was actually like organic. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for the other day when I was talking about my subscribers. Organic. So it happened so organically that ordinarily, you wouldn't expect so much antagonism from the people who have experienced same from those. Like, I remember that time when Showore said, it wasn't him, but it was from him I actually heard that. He said that if you are fighting for the oppressed in Nigeria, sure you get, which means you are fighting the oppressors, you will need to use one single hand, because the other hand, you will need that to defend yourself and protect yourself from the same people that you think you are fighting for. So, which means you can only use one hand to fight the oppressors and use the other one to protect yourself. So people who actually felt that way, I would, well, not because I kind of expected too much that the obedient will put this disruption as they have done, but ordinarily, I would have expected somebody who has been through that at this stage, right? to just easily, conveniently, somehow, see the bigger picture, not the myopic one that majority of them are focusing on is Igbo. A lot of them are actually saying whatever they are saying, attacking you as obedient and all of that, not because they have anything wrong you have done or you've done anything wrong. It's simply because every time they remember that all these things, obedient, this and that, the north, the south, the east, the west, and everywhere obedient, obe, is actually about an Igbo. And a lot of them, like I told you, is an unwritten hatred, is there in our system. A lot of people can't tell you, but they will tell you 1 million things they have heard that the Igbos are responsible for in Nigeria. And they will not prove or give you any evidence of any. Do you get that? It's naturally there. They either tell you they are so arrogant, or tell you that they want to take over everywhere, or they want to control everybody, or they want to be the one in charge. That's this unproven sentiment is there, and it triggers people who are non-Igbos so much. Are you with me? So they can hide and tell you, the obedient this, the obedient that, this and blah, 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 blah. I hate them. And it's actually the thought. It is the thought that, hang on. So this whole thing now, an Igbo man will be president of Nigeria like that. And just like that. No, that's not going to happen. Now, if it's going to be an Igbo man, it can't be this Obi. It has to be another one. Do you know some people are already saying that if an Igbo man is going to be president of Nigeria, it mustn't be this Obi. It has to be another one. It has to be the one that is from the same system, rottenly corrupt, so that you can stop saying it's better than this drug dealer, Boko Haram sympathizer, SPV, and the rest of them. Anyway, it didn't go that way. Everybody is picking sides. And this time around, it's like a unanimous. The people who have also experienced this kind of attacks, they are joining those who attacked them at the time, discredited them at the time. Those who discredited Sowore at the time are discrediting you, the obedient, today. Those who publicly said Sowore's hashtag revolution now is a treasonable felony, that hashtag can overthrow government. Remember, the people who said that today are already camping under the likes of Sowore, Seun Kuti, and the rest of all these guys. They are camping on their different mentions to join them in attacking you, the obedient. And it's actually like gaslighting too. But everybody is asking, but why? Why are they dissipating so much energy? Why are they making up stories in order to justify whatever they plan to do? What could be the end goal? Of course, people said that if you don't score 25%, you can't be president. I mean, somebody said, but Obi's vice is a northerner now. Baba, do you want to hear that story too? You want me to tell you the story of how finally they found somebody that will finally just allow his image to be paired with that of Obi? Do you want to hear the story? I'll tell you. When Obi left Yangon, for Tinubu, they told him, if he wanted their support in northern Nigeria, he must pick a Muslim. And if he's not going to pick a Muslim as his vice, they will go for Atiku, because they would rather have a Muslim that they can trust in power. So Tinubu had to go for a Muslim, but do you know other conditions? Do you remember when they were saying that Kwakwanso, that maybe Kwakwanso is going to be Obi's vice, And suddenly, Kwakwanso said, that is an insult, that nobody will vote for any Igbo man in northern Nigeria. And according to him, nobody will vote for any Igbo man in northern Nigeria after what the Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB have done. What have they done? Is the IPOB and the Nnamdi Kanu behind the mass killings, the escalated kidnappings and terrorism in northern Nigeria? Are those who are killing your people in northern Nigeria committing less crime to you than whatever Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB said that the Igbos is just like an excuse? Oh, remember, he said the only thing he can do is that he can only help the Igbos to come closer to Aso Rock. That's what he said. He said it is an insult for anybody to expect him to be the vice president to Obi. Nobody will even look at him in northern Nigeria. Nobody will even campaign for him. Some of their northern leaders forum, Abinoda Elders Forum and all those nonsense they call themselves. Give me a circle. Just a moment.